all roads lead to the same conclusion for this series. We'll be ready to get into the pistol round for map 2 for Endpoint. It will need to be survival. For BuzzKill, it could be the series victory and moving into the grand final. You saw that graphic earlier. They'll be facing off against the Fierce versus London winner, which comes up on our second series of the day. But yeah, this one, very important for Endpoint to try and take control. Again, I suspect that they can do it, but it all comes about nukes. That's the real problem here, Yumi. Mirage, I feel like it will be not a non-issue, but I do believe it won't be a BuzzKill map, certainly.
And just before people sort of think that, oh, we're only sort of hyping up BuzzKill's nuke because that's all we saw from them in the group stage, it's not really a map that Endpoint play too often. I mean, I know it used to be a part of their map pool previously. I know that they've played it before, but it's been quite a considerable amount of time, and I don't think they've registered many wins on it of late, and especially not with these two new players that are now into the roster, where rotations are such a huge portion of how you play that map.
Here we go, Endpoint flashing and smoking their way into the B-bomb site. It's hype with the first and the second headshot being found. Players out towards the balcony will drop down out towards Truck, and Lazar will get his fair dues. Hawk with the kill on Pulse, leave it at 2 versus 4, now 2 versus 3, now 1 versus 3. As Mighty Max is the last man left standing in the apartments. Cray is going to spot him. Hawk and JSav also in position to try and shut him out, and he's got the bomb on his back, but no Kevlar, the P250, a smoke, and that's all he has to work with for the T side.
A really difficult position, especially being spotted out earlier on. Of course, some early damage done to Crazed could certainly provide him a way in. Should they get into a post-plant position, I imagine BuzzKill should be able to congregate and get that defused, as Hawk does have the kit for the side. JSav should be the first to make contact, but he's going to allow Max up towards Connector. This one player in towards CT is completely exposed and isolated, and if Mighty Max is able to find that frag, get that bomb planted, suddenly he's got a bit of cover to work with and maybe a bit of control as well. This is going to be a crucial frag. Will he clear out Cray's position? There it is. He finally converts that frag and getting that bomb planted. A lot of cash going into the next round, but the potential to clutch as well as he has the triple position. It's the potential to reposition.
That's what it'll do. Reposition back towards Dark. Smoke up towards Jungle. Couldn't go to connect to Jungle. BT up against JSav, and Hawk will peek out from the lower position. So very well timed there from BuzzKill. Knew exactly where he would be at. Seen that smoke and where it came from, and just knew, right, okay, well, let's just take the face around that corner and peek together, so that way he can't get us both. He can only get one of us, and the trade can come in so easily. So first on the board for BuzzKill. A big pistol round again to start things off, carrying that momentum in from Dust 2 into Mirage. Trying to see if they can shut down Endpoint early on, but you said it as well. Also the bomb plant coming through from the T side. The eco will come through, and we saw how much damage they were able to do with these Deagles on the first map. Now going into the second round of the second map. Let's see how much more they can do.
Setting up in a pretty standard approach here for Endpoint, just looking for an opportunity that may present itself. Of course, the SMGs are somewhat reasonable to expect from the BuzzKill side, but somewhat unorthodox in this one. It's Crazed and Restless buy up scouts instead, and not trying to farm up that cash, maybe identifying that Endpoint, because they got that bomb plant, should be able to get a reasonable buy into the third round, but they already subject a kill over towards Laney. That's connector control now established. They need to cause a rotation, but Craze has found a response frag. That makes things a little bit more awkward for Endpoint. They wanted to commit towards that A-side split, 2 players in towards ramp, but if they lose Pulse, suddenly they're in recovery mode. They need to run through connector back towards the ramp just to get that planted.
And a Hawk around this corner will try and defend B. Seen the first man, so you realize that there's 2 more around him. Mighty Max to face around this corner together. Hype spots, takes a spray. Hawk's just going to wait around, actually get caught off guard by Lane. He's looking for the M4. Hype will get that trade, so 3 versus 3 scenario. The CTs will have to concede a bomb plant here. So not the most ideal scenario for BuzzKill. Damage being done, however, should be able to get this retake together relatively easy. Just the sheer firepower overwhelming the T side, and Hype will prove my point. 2K for him as Pulse goes falling. Lazar and Mighty Max on single digits in certain cases. Lazar now is last man left to 17. Deagle up. Can't get Crazed down, so 2-0 on the board. But for an eco, again, Endpoint 2 bomb plants back to back.
Yeah.
Pretty good. It means a really bolstered work can come through. I think the AWP has a lot of potential in the current economical state. Not quite, actually. There's only a couple of players that can go for it. And no, actually, scratch that. Everyone can go for it. I'm being an idiot with my mathematics. So everyone can go for it. And the AWP will come out for Lazar as a result.
Although everybody could go for it, I'd be very surprised if Endpoint will throw the curveball 5 ops on that T side. It would be certainly interesting, but Luzza, the expected player, and a whole bout of utility to sort of kind of support him out here. They should be able to throw smokes in towards window and top middle once they establish early mid control, but as soon as Luzza takes that peek, realizes that there's nobody peeking in through that window, so they will fall back. A smoke will meet them as well to prevent any additional information, but Russ is getting aggressive here. He might actually push a little bit further, take a bit of an initiative play, and he's actually going to do exactly that. Endpoint, there's a hole that is potentially exploitable. Laney is here alone towards the B apartments. And Russ, oh, how does he not line that one up? Laney jumping up on towards the railing, able to win that respective duel by the skin of his teeth.
A big frag for the Endpoint side, though, able to take out one of the main aggressors. JSav will try and take Russ's place. Move up through the underpass position. If he finds that there's no T-side players here, then that could cause a massive rotation from the BuzzKill side. Only one player on A as Endpoint set up towards it, mid position as well. 2 players going in that direction, and look at this. Jace have all the info. They will rotate out towards Connector. One more man back on B, just in case they do decide to split up through mid and go towards short. Well, Hype is going to be the Hype. So he tries to take first face in the Connector. Crazed will take down Laney to respond from the BuzzKill initial loss. Now Hype gets dealt with. Craze getting Molotov out. He's actually still remaining in dark here. Pulse thinks it's clear. The secondary follow-up will come through, and that should force Craze that position. ZNX will take him down. And Hawk and JSav last 2. Now just JSav alone. Nice try there from the counter rotation. The backstab just a little bit late to the party on this one. And that will be Endpoint with the first.
Potential opportunity to at least get this early frag. There it is on towards ZNX. Very crisp from JSav, but not expecting Luzza to peek out so early. The trade is there, and Endpoint, a team ace to get themselves that first round. A very good way to sort of bring up everybody's morale, show that everybody's contributing, and each piece of the puzzle was pivotal for that first registered round on that T side, but we need to see more like it. I think we're of the consensus that Endpoint need a pretty shutout performance here on Mirage to really convince us that they can take that map 3, show that they have a presence on Nuke.
Yeah, and the force back coming through from BuzzKill will leave a little bit more presence for Endpoint in this one. Should be an easy enough affair with these AKs, although that being said, there are 4 Deagles out. And BuzzKill probably pulled off some really stupid rounds over the course of the last few days. I wouldn't be surprised if they did the exact same thing here, but ZNX will keep order maintained. As JSav is the first casualty, aggressive towards the T-spawn, punished by the AK. Endpoint. Spread out default, not going to commit towards any particular bomb site, not even commit towards the mid control, which is kind of curious. I mean, a lot less T-sides are going for the mid control despite it being such a crucial point in Mirage.
Yeah, it's something that we see very often and instrumentally a part of some teams, but not quite the affair that we're seeing here.
I guess now we can see why.
Yeah, you don't want to go towards Russ with the Deagle. He's lethal, and he carried over such a strong performance from Dust too. We're going to get a bit more, but maybe a bit greedy going through the Molotov, but Luzza able to dispatch of him. Hype's there from range to support Craze. They've maybe identified that there's 2 players here on that A site. Yeah, Endpoint, they're immediately backing away, moving instead towards B, but Hawk is lying in wait. Oh, the first presentation, the second, almost able to line it up on Laney, but able to recover the bomb, bring things back towards sanity here for Endpoint, but they're isolated duels. They're suddenly trapped between both of these sites, and Laney has no support. Hype's already there, the bomb drops, Pulse is shut out by the round. And he can't do anything. He has to hold on to just the AK.
It all came up to that man planting on the B bomb site. The fact that he went down, the fact that the bomb's now been dropped means that there's no real opportunity for Pulse to recover in this one. Isolated towards A, and yeah, he'll fall back at T-spawn and save. No choice in the matter. A third on the board for BuzzKill, and well, we talked about those Deagles being potentially very dangerous, and that's exactly what happened here, Yumi. BuzzKill found the right angles, found the appropriate headshots, and although not all the kills were headshots, they still held their own, still kept the trades going in favor of that CT side. And now they're back in with a bite against Endpoint to force the issue. A CZ for Laney, and that's the best they can afford alongside the remaining AK-47s. Yeah, massive round from BuzzKill in that last one, I do have to say.
And that's one of the issues when you're making these on-the-fly calls and you double back towards these sites. You don't have time to fully clear out all these positions, and one position that goes unchecked could be extremely detrimental. BuzzKill able to do initial damage in towards the mid-control setup here from Endpoint, who have committed 4 players towards that position. It's the triple setup here from the CT side, but they get the double entry. That suddenly makes things a lot more awkward here for BuzzKill because one of these bomb sites needs to be more heavily reinforced. The silver lining, Hawk is set up in the apartments already. He has a bit more control and space to kind of deal with the progression, but BuzzKill are actually moving towards that site.
I'm going to try and predict the idea that the B site is the hit. The truth is that Endpoint not going to decide 100%. They were moving towards that A bomb site initially, and now they're going to rotate towards B. Now, we've seen stacks from BuzzKill before, but they're going to counter-rotate of their own right. Oh, my word. Endpoint doing wonders, and one flashbang over towards A will pull all the presence from B. Laney's like, yep, this is easy, easy. CZ moving up, and that'll be a bomb plant secured by Endpoint. Probably not even a retake to come through from the BuzzKill side. If they stuck to their guns and stay back on B, then that would have been a massive, massive hold from them, potentially even one that breaks Endpoint's economy. As it stands, rushing in towards the B recovery play, and they'll fall back in the end. Jason just trying to get out with his life, and might not even able to do so against Laney. Burst fire, 71 points of health, but he stays alive at the very least for the CT side. Still, though, what a fake from Endpoint. It took a single flashbang to pull all 3 players away from B.
And that's what we talked about in the pregame before. We talked about how BuzzKill were making these over-rotations pretty consistently on when we'd seen them on Nuke and when we'd seen them previously, but...
Thank you, Windows, for destroying my...
Yeah, that was a bit ear-piercing.
Restart to install the newest Windows feature update. How about no?
Oh, we're going to restart tonight. Good choice. Good choice. But we saw the sort of overcommitments that BuzzKill quite often makes towards one of those sites when they're a man down. And it's a gamble stack. It's something that they wanted to commit to. But because Endpoint were so slow in their progression, they started to doubt themselves. And I think that's something that it was a bit interesting. As soon as you called it, the one flashbang that was thrown, suddenly they over-rotate back over towards A. And it's this situation where they're constantly getting pushed and pulled between both these bomb sites. It will be the investment once again here from that CT side, though. They don't want Endpoint to tie up the series, and it's again pistols and whatever they've been able to scrap together. Russ will keep a little bit of extra money holding on towards that scout, and Laney's just waiting for the push here. BuzzKill doubling up and just having as much trade potential as possible. One dodging the flash should it have come out, but Laney lines up the first. There's the trade from Hawk. That's an AK that's recoverable. It's not going to be able to be punished there from Endpoint.
Yeah, 1v1 duel, initial face going to the AK, and the Hawk chimes right back, so 4-on-4 scenario, and Endpoint going to look towards the A site here. Hawk and Russ tagged up a little bit. Teams make their way inland. A little mid-control, so we're going by Mighty Max. Could also isolate that 1v1 if they have the sniper's nest. The smokes will go up, so they can't quite get full vision onto him. But now, though, Endpoint, their main force is going towards the ramp area. They've got 2 AKs to work with on the part of BuzzKill. Nice taps from Russ that will take down Russ towards CT spawn, but the crossfire here between Hype and Craze could be massive. Craze gets down 1, but no more than that. Pulse and Loza quickly combine to deal with those 2 players, and Hawk is left alone. AK against Mighty Max, and Mighty Max has the angle towards Ladder Room. A 3 versus 3 on the scoreboard, and BuzzKill going to be equalized. Their early start going to dissipate from the Endpoint side.
And this is potentially the first lead that Endpoint are going to have, in the fact that it has been the BuzzKill show to start off this game, but Endpoint bringing it back now, tying up the affair. They just face up against the standard issue pistols here from that CT side, and although they were dangerous in some of these force buys and some of these pistol rounds, I'd like to think that the Endpoint would be able to keep things somewhat manageable, but losing one player early on, Mighty Max is left on an island as well. He's a little bit fearful of these pistols. You can see how hesitant he is to commit to a duel, but finally, they deal with all the push and all the presence there from that CT side in middle. Just the one player left remaining in Hype, and he's not going to be able to accomplish too much. ZNX takes him down at range with the the MAC-10, sorry. They get themselves their first lead of the game.
I do appreciate Mighty Max's respect for BuzzKill. He knows that those pistols in numbers en masse could do a lot of damage. And they stacked the mid positioner. They went for exactly the play that he read. So just hold back and wait for BuzzKill to offer themselves up 1v1, get yourself into a better advantageous position, rather than throw your life away and potentially throw the round away for Endpoint. It's a very crucial time for them. Their economy hasn't fully bolstered yet. It's still balanced, still pretty decent in terms of the overall average marker, but still 100%. BuzzKill here with their buy-up could potentially cripple Endpoint on the buy after this round, so the AUGs and the AWP certainly looking for a lot, but the AWP is glass cannon for the CT forces. BuzzKill might have a couple of problems in that regard. Now Endpoint going to set themselves back up for the same hits towards A. Flashbangs in, no smokes to cover off connect to jungle or CT. That might be a bit of a problem because Crazed and JSAV have the crossfire locked, but the smokes go down as JSAV deals with Lane to start things off. Now ZNX making his presence felt here as he takes point into the connector position. JSAV getting forced out of areas, and next not even going to read this connector area. He's going to go towards jungle instead. Tries to take a little bit of damage, but Endpoint, they have the site.
The next position could be absolutely pivotal. If he times this flank correctly at the right moment, suddenly BuzzKill get completely siphoned off. BuzzKill are trying to move back in towards window. Russ, he checks the angle, but ZNX deals with him. That's perfect. The flash came through as well from his teammate in Laza. And now they're going to commit to this. They have to go for it because they don't want BuzzKill to equalize the affair once more. Hype is pushed on through. JSAV through the connector. It's ZNX that deals with him, but it's now just Hawk. 1 versus 3, and he's dancing between all these different fights. He finds one, but Luz is able to track him down in the end. Endpoint creating a bit of distance here, and so far a very strong performance from Laza.
Yeah, big numbers thrown up by him. 10 frags. You know, we talked about him and Mighty Max and Laney being the main 3 guys. I mean, certainly Pulse had a very good first map and for Endpoint. And Laza now, he's stepping up, bringing the double digits first for the T side line. BuzzKill also shut down as appropriate. Deco coming out here for the CT forces. And Endpoint are once again going to go towards A. I mean, it's worked so many rounds in a row, you know. The hits have been confident, even though there's been no smokes, even though there hasn't been any sort of major utility plays. It's not a set execution. It's just a flash in, go straight, take the Angels. Endpoint know that they could potentially do it as well, which is what leaves them with the chances here against BuzzKill Esports. Deco out once again, Crazed. Ready for first contact. Flashed open. JSAV does get the first of Pulse. Crazed is trading. JSAV last man left. AK picked up. Hawks getting into position on Sandwich. I don't think they've read this either. Molotov will force him back out of angle, and they're going to fall away. Hype on the backstab, though. Where's he come from? 2 kills to his name. AWP picked up, and there's even more T-side players to deal with. And he's going to stall for time with backup making their way in through Ramp and Palace. Hype might go down, indeed he will, but he's got 2 more players to deal with, and ZNX runs out of ammo. Mighty Max, last man remaining, might recover the bomb, but the CTs are going to hear all these footsteps, and they've got 2 AKs to peek around that corner. JSAV trying to shoulder bait it, and meanwhile the cross being locked out by Hawk will be right around this corner. Mighty Max on the face up. Oh. Back turned. Oh my god, Mighty Max. Will he go for this? What's he going to do? Just tap him on the head instead of go for the knife. I thought he would have gone for it regardless. JSAV now 1v1 as Mighty Max might still recover this for Endpoint.
And he has to know where JSAV is approaching from. He's eliminated one of the angles by throwing that Molotov into towards Palace. The smoke as well will come through. JSAV has to push through it. Max,
the timing! Oh!
Max! He still wins the round! That is the slimmest of margins. He almost uses the smoke as a wall, and JSAV almost finds him and catches him out. But Max navigating the timings to a fault, but so close. That is devastating. I mean, that was a round that BuzzKill almost fought back on another sort of deco. They do it again and again in terms of bringing these close, but they have to rely on the individuals to step up in that moment. Mighty Max with the 1 versus 2 to get Endpoint, double the scoreline of BuzzKill.
What a round from Mighty Max. I mean, credit to where it's due. BuzzKill was just a deco, did a lot of damage to the T-side line. 4 players falling, a massive reinvestment to come through from Endpoint. But the start of the show was very clearly Max. Like,
yeah.
What a clutch and what a flick around when the timing was so good for the T player that peaked out. Like, just wow. Absolutely brilliant stuff from him. And Endpoint going to keep their lead going at 6-3. Mid-control gain. AWP around this corner here in Palace, and Rush will take down Pulse to begin. Go responsive by BuzzKill. Going to try and force the issue from Endpoint. Force them back out of comfortable positions and look towards the A site here. The smokes are up, but a nice gap for JSAV to use as they round that corner. Laza does deal with Hype. We're back to a 4 versus 4 scenario here. Max also takes out JSAV. There you go. Nicely done. Rust low on HP with this AWP. Trying to keep the murder hole open, but the teams have already made their way across. They don't need to go any further than this. Full face in, and Rust actually pays the price for it against Mighty Max. So 2v4 scenario, Endpoint much more confident in this round.
Very forward positions, some very fast entries that go untraded there for the BuzzKill side. Although the rotation is there from Hawk. If he'd gotten a second kill, he might have talked himself into going towards this retake, but instead it will likely be the save here from Hawk once again. It is shaping up to be a very good half here from Endpoint. Close to setting themselves up for the halftime victory and getting themselves to 8 rounds, but BuzzKill, we can't count them out just yet. I think their CT side has been on and off. They've shown some sporadic moments and extreme explosiveness on these players, especially in these sort of forced by situations, but they need that same level of impact on the rifles. I think the fact that they're spreading themselves out and they've not been able to manage or sort of deploy counter utility when Endpoint have gone for these executes, it's really starting to show that Endpoint, they're not even, when they've gone towards the A site, they haven't thrown a traditional A execute at all, I don't think. They've just thrown that one flash over and wanted to take every gunfight they could.
Yeah, that's the one thing we saw BuzzKill doing so well when they went to the when they went to Dust 2. You know, the counter utility was so great against Endpoint. Endpoint were always trying to struggle to get the early sort of map advantage. So the fact that now they stand here and BuzzKill aren't using that counter utility, the fact that they're not trying to, you know, do everything they can to fight back against Endpoint in terms of the tactical game, bit concerning here. It's all firepower. They will also be able to take the Eagles in alongside this AK saved by Hype. Endpoint facing a little bit of aggression towards that mid position. JSAV right around that corner from the likes of ZNX. Passive again from the T sideline, and that might work better for the CTs. Look at Hype's angle. He's got players to worry about, and no one knows he's here. Oh, pre-fires against Mighty Max, and he's going to miss every single bullet. He has no idea that Luz is there, and they both combine to take him down. The Eagle from Hawk can't get his 1D, so he falls right back out of position. A 4 versus 3 for Endpoint.
Oh, that's so awkward. You feel for Hype in that situation. He could potentially just win the round single-handedly, but instead, Endpoint, as a result of getting that kill, they'll identify as well that because there was so much presence made over towards B, BuzzKill might over-rotate towards that bomb site, respectively. So it will be crazed to lock things down at range with the scout.
Imagine he hit these headshots, though. We've seen some really crispy scout shots over the course of this matchup. He's going to fall back over to B bomb site, and BuzzKill will actually commit to the stack. Endpoint going to commit to the execute. Molotovs and flashes over. No one is there to be seen for BuzzKill. The scout will make his way back into position as Crazed will spot one player, misses shot on Pulse though, and bomb plant down out towards the open part of danger box. And the AWP will trump the scout this time around. It's now Hawk and JSAV, last two players. Hawk probably just going to save the AK. JSAV on the backstab might take a player out of position. Take another rifle for the CT line. In fact, Pulse next map to challenge here. This will be very good if they can just get this rifle out of play. And indeed, JSAV just going to grab the AK and run for the hills here. It will be a half for the favour of Endpoint at 8-3. But BuzzKill's, you know, they're still showing up a bit of a fight here. It has been a number of rounds in a row for Endpoint. Max loss bonus, of course, for BuzzKill. Ooh, but Hawk hold the phone. No smoke down, and that's going to be crucial. ZNX will trade him back out. If he had the smoke with the defuse kit, then maybe I could have seen a way to be able to win that round. But yeah, a little bit late to the marker, and BuzzKill a little bit overpressured. That
would have been a really awful way to lose the round if you're Endpoint. If suddenly ZNX is kind of chasing down that last few frags, but maybe identifying as well, not being too greedy with it, being in a position where they could contest the bomb should it have been tapped or attempted there, like we did see. BuzzKill are doing a good, actually really kind of struggling to convert these rounds. Although they're finding a lot of kills, doing a decent amount of damage to Endpoint, so many rounds in a row now for that T side. This is exactly what we wanted to see. They needed to make Mirage convincing, and they're doing it so far, but there's the response from BuzzKill. The mid-control, they meet them head-on, and Endpoint losing out in the initial duels. The silver lining in lane, he's been able to creep himself out, but there's still a man down.
3v2. Double up setup, still in play for BuzzKill, and this might cover the defensive. Ooh, but look at Hawk, he's going to hear those footsteps from Laney. He might still swing out, he can't quite catch him, but he will know that they're going towards A, and he'll keep his position, making sure that they do not aggress. Firebox gained by Pulse means that there's a bit of a line in, but actually a bit more of a line than I expected. I thought the Rust would have been able to peek over towards the ramp position, but in the end, they're actually peeking passive and trying to watch out for the aggressive A site from the T side players. The smoke down from Pulse will guarantee them the site control, and the bomb plant will come through as now Hawk rotates in for the backstab. The bomb plant goes down, open for Sandwich. A retake up for the BuzzKill's squad. They've got one defuse kit, one smoke. Not a lot, but might still be a little bit here for the CT retake. And they're going to play against where the CTs are coming in from as well. Endpoint, two players out towards jungle and connector. Pulse ready and raring. As the smokes go up, he's still got an open line from Russ's Cross. Will spot them both. Take the first man. 2 versus 2 now. As Hawk comes over, the AWP makes its way inland. Tap the bomb once. The defuse gets still in play. And Laney lines them both up. Triple kill for him as they both face the exact same angle at the exact same time. And Endpoint connect 9.
That is perfectly played from Endpoint in that situation. Recognizing as well that BuzzKill have gone for that flank a number of times when they've committed towards that A-side aggression and just immediately pushing for some sort of initiative. They go in towards jungle, there's nobody there on the side of BuzzKill, and it allows that post-plant position to be played to a T. Laney even capitalizing on a small gap in the smoke that allows him a sight line on towards that bomb. And what is the response of your BuzzKill? You've tried a number of different CT side setups. You've gone aggressive. You've tried playing out passive. You've pushed extremities as well. But each time, Endpoint has been able to come out somewhat unscathed in the affairs. Although it did get a little bit close in that previous round from the counter-aggression, they're not going to want to try that again just because they ended up losing the round as a result of giving up that mid-control. Already a man down in this round. It's not looking the best here for BuzzKill. They'll have to spread out the defenses once more. They don't have a lot of information to work with. Endpoint aren't making a lot of noise around the map. Ooh, another opportunity where BuzzKill could have potentially lost a player, but instead they'll realize that mid is fully compromised, and they probably shouldn't peek much more because the AWP of Lazza is there.
50 seconds left for Endpoint. Mid-control established by the T's. Russ with this AWP, though. If they go towards short, it's looking like there's going to be a split. He could be able to cut them off, but no, the timing is better for the T side. Hawk with the 5-7. Tapping on through. Can't take down Mighty Max as JSAV comes up with a frag. Mighty Max with a trade, and Hawk trade right back to 3 versus 3. But bomb side's exposed quite a little bit. Lazza contesting up towards his mid position. Craze around this corner with the UMP, but Lazza with a flick. And with another kill. Hawk will trade it once again, but again, the B bomb site is the main point of contention. The bomb plant will come through, and it is all evened up for the retake. 2 defuse kits, but no Kevlar on Russ. This AWP has got to get these first shots in and be quicker to the trigger figure to the Endpoint side. So, Pulse and Laney, 2 very different positions. One back at bench, one over to the short area. They'll move slowly inland. As the CTs also do the same. Hawk out towards the entrance, spotted, sprayed, and just about one out by Pulse, so it all leaves it to Russ. AWP, Manicness if you can make this whole thing work. Knows where Pulse is, has no idea where Laney is, round this corner, will take the face up and almost gets the flick, but Laney with the spray. Team ace for Endpoint.
Another team ace. That's the second we've seen. We saw BuzzKill with 2 individual aces, but that's a lot better from the side of Endpoint. I mean, this is a fantastic half from them, securing double digits and really shutting out BuzzKill's kind of counterplays in these rounds. Even when BuzzKill have gotten aggressive, Endpoint are constantly checking for the flank, constantly making sure to look behind, and they're finding these early picks into the round. Once again, it's going to be mid-control on the cards for Endpoint. We sort of criticize them for not really using that as a part of their structure to start off this half, but it has become a pivotal role and pivotal position for them to deal with because BuzzKill can't seem to contest it too heavily.
4 for 1. Hawk alone. M4 as Endpoint just completely dismantled the defensive here, looking very good on T side. And this is more like the T side I was expecting to see on Dust 2 from Endpoint. You know, now it's looking coordinated, now it's looking good. And you see the numbers being posted up by the Endpoint side. 15 frags for Lazza, 14 for Mighty Max and Laney. So our 2 guys that we highlighted are going ham. And Lazza is having a game right now that he is just not gonna regret at all. Endpoint. Final round against BuzzKill in this half. It's just SMGs to come through from Hyper and Rush. 1 M4, 1 Deagle, 1 5-7. And a full-blown execute to come through from Endpoint. They're not going to waste any expense here on A.
JSAV up close and personal and Crazed at distance to try and support. It will be a full frontal assault on this A site as Endpoint are shaping up to progress further through. Still, we'll have to wait for these smokes to fade. They need to line up a couple smokes of their own as well. Good to see that Endpoint have sort of traded blows in fragging potential, but Max is still on the lurk here. He's made a lot of progress in towards middle, but Russ, if he finds the time, he's got the MP9 up close and personal. But the mismanagement, there it is. Max would be able to get the pronged assault. ZNX and Pulse get the initial entries. Hawk and Hype, they chime right back though. 3 kills in their own right, and Lazza is left with Laney in towards Palace. They were siphoned off by a Molotov. They couldn't push on through. They couldn't commit towards that A site, and now they're left to scramble.
Ooh, but a great nade of flashbang in. They're going to deal with Russ and deal with Hype. Well, anything you can do, we can do better, boys. Hawk left alone, but he's still got the bomb control. An Endpoint rebuy their position back here in this hit. 38 seconds left to go before the half is over. Endpoint going to try and extend that with a bomb plant right now, but they are taking their sweet time with this. They have no idea where Hawk is repositioned to. He's going to go for a counter backstab. Are Endpoint ready for this? They are going to check all the angles, but peeking together, it's a very, very clumped up area. And now Hawk will try and challenge from Palace. Making their way inside. He's hearing those footsteps from Laney. 15 seconds to go. And Lazza drops down, going to try and go for the plant here. Both players could be spotted out. He'll deny. He'll spot them both. One headshot. He knows he can just fall back at this stage. 5 seconds. Lazza will just about get this bomb plant just in time. It will be full retake mode as Hawk realizes the challenge is on him. He has no idea where Lazza's planted around this corner. Ring of rosies, but he still gets the 3K. 5 points of health. He just clutches the last round of the half for BuzzKill.
And that was so smartly played from Hawk to recognize that time was against Luzza there. Even when he'd allowed and secured that plant, it was such a subjecting position to be in because Hawk could have repositioned, moved so much further out on the balcony. They needed a round like that. I think huge swinging moments and huge clutches like that really bring up the morale, can really bring momentum back into your favor because BuzzKill really struggled on Mirage. That's a fantastic half from Endpoint. And if they're able to push that one further and close out this map in a pretty successful fashion, maybe even deny the double digits from BuzzKill, I could see them putting up a really good fight on Nuke.
11-4, Endpoint, Diffuse and Smoke for Mighty Max, and single Flash Smoke and HE for the BuzzKill. So they're going to go for a full-on execution here towards Connect to Jungle Stairs, but Pulse executes towards CTs. The next back behind the Danger Box will try and get some good tank damage, and they will be able to dismantle it. 5 versus 2, make it 1, and Hype left alone, make it just nothing for BuzzKill. Endpoint, a manic crossfire from virtually every single player on that CT side, just destroying BuzzKill. No chance of that one entirely. Like, it looked like such a confident execution as well. I'd say that was probably more confident than Endpoint's execute, where they went for the single smoke, double smokes up, and they still just got absolutely destroyed. Yeah,
not a single casualty on the CT side, and what a statement to make. It's going to be another pistol round here from BuzzKill. It's pistol rounds galore, really, in this game. It has been a consistent talking point. Although they can be dangerous on them, Endpoint have done it a lot better at really securing these anti-eco rounds. Pulse, SMG in hand, he's having a field day with it, and it's just going to be an easy cleanup once again here from Endpoint. BuzzKill, this first gun round is going to be crucial. They need this one, else it's just going to be a shutout game from the Endpoint side, in which case we may as well set ourselves up for that third map of the series.
Especially if it keeps going like this. BuzzKill, AK is coming out for this round. This will be their best chance at this one, Yumi, but like, Jesus, this is looking like it's a dismantling from the CT forces. You thought that T side was strong. Yeah. If this CT side has anything to go off the basis of that pistol, then this is going to get real ugly for BuzzKill. And as you say, we might as well just be setting up for the likes of Nuke. This 4-man stack will actually be cutting off from the BuzzKill side. They've left 1 man in Mighty Max over on B. If they rotate in now, they probably would get a confident sight here, because look at how many players are here for Endpoint with a lack of rotation potential. It's Russ to open up, but Laney takes the first frag. JSav can't get the second man back over to the connector Jungle Stairs. Into the next back on Danger Box. Laney again still going to play close range against the next player to face from ramp. That could be the bomb plus destroyed as well. Hawk will take Luzza. Pulse will go down on the same. 4 versus 3, 4 versus 2. Actually, the faces from J7 and Hawk are going to go well. It's all left to the next back on the bomb site, and he's not quite ready. So there you go. Another confidence showing from BuzzKill, but it took him a little bit of time to get there.
Yeah, and I started to get a little bit worried once Laney had so much success on that MP9 to start things off, but BuzzKill are able to recover things back despite that early advantage gained by that CT side. We said how pivotal that first gun round was going to be, the fact that they maybe deny a bit more confidence built up on the side of Endpoint, and showing that there may be still some fight left in them. Of course, still early stages in the second half, still a lot to be proven here. BuzzKill still moving forward with it. AKs galore. It will be Endpoint reinvesting into this, and they've had to make a couple of compromises. A couple of FAMASs are out, the MP9 and Mighty Max's hands, who has taken a more supportive role.
Look at the 4 players on the B bomb, so with the hits coming through from BuzzKill. Around this corner they go down. ZNX takes down 1, Luzza with a quick trade on JSav. And the CT still hold the line here. Nice lineup from Mighty Max. Russ comes up on towards Luzza though, as Mighty Max goes forward into Craze with the 2 versus 2. They've still got Pulse on the bomb site. And now it leaves it to Laney. The FAMAS in play. Everyone has contributed from Endpoint. Laney to make it a team ace, to secure them the 14th, to put them very close to the line. And Russ to keep them from getting closer to that map point here. He's playing back on bench. The bomb is on his back. He's got 55 seconds to work with. And Laney also playing super carefully. He has no idea if Russ is rotated. And Russ might rotate into the clutches of Laney if he goes through market. Oh my God, he is. Oh, the timing is so good on this one. Laney, no idea. In the sniper's nest, will not hear a single peep out from Russ. But now loads of footsteps being made. Laney knows exactly what to do. He hears him. Actually, just go for the smoke up here. Just going to escape the clutches. Russ will just get onto the bomb site, get a bomb plot out for open. He has no idea that Lane is coming in for the backstab though. And he's going to go towards the dark area. Okay. Both players playing around each other so well. It's a game of cat and mouse with Russ running from Laney.
Russ has weaseled his way out of that situation so fantastically. Oh, the timing might not just work out. Laney's crept on forward, but he misses the shot. Russ is able to adjust in time, and BuzzKill, They win the round. The team ace denied there from Endpoint. That would have been the third of the map. And they've had a very, very good showing, but so many trades back and forth on that B-side aggression. It's inevitably the man that stepped up on Dust 2, who's had a pretty quiet showing on Mirage, that clutches things back.
Oh,
It is very... some of these rounds has been just the slimmest of margins. Endpoint, only the pistols in this one, haven't really put too much control over towards B, only the one player there. There's a backstabbing player in ZNX, but he's got the bomb actually. He's got a weapon to work with as well, and he's going to make things a little bit more awkward for the likes of BuzzKill, who couldn't progress on towards the B side as a result of that bomb being dropped. And now do they even still commit to this? Because the rotation could have come through from Endpoint. Of course, it is just the pistols, but you don't want to underestimate them.
The Endpoint showing a lot of respect to BuzzKill, and now BuzzKill might have to do the exact same thing, taking a lot of damage on Crazed and J7. Look at Laney coming in for the backlines. He's spotted Crazed. He's not going to be able to find the frag. He's not going to be able to find the angle just yet. Still pushing up, the bomb plant will come through, and now Laney and Co make their way into retake positions, almost tapping his way on through. I thought J7 dropped for a second, and that's how close that bullet got. And with this kind of damage, you're looking at this CZ and thinking, okay, one good headshot, one good body shot even might be enough to take out the likes of J7 or Crazed. Endpoint not going to go so far as to throw all their weapons away. I mean, I personally would have gone for it because they've just got pistols. They haven't got anything else to work with. So, and hopefully get a little bit lucky is the main thing right there for Endpoint.
And as well, so if they have the information that these players are tagged up, even just securing a way in which that they can contain BuzzKill towards that bomb, let the bomb do the work for them, take down these remaining players that were tagged down low. But instead, they take a passive approach, and I think I'm as surprised as you that they didn't commit a little bit more into that in terms of just doing more damage to that T-side economy. Otherwise, BuzzKill have a bit of a buffer to work with. Will be the buy once more here from BuzzKill. Hawk actually moving away from the SMG, not trying to hold on to that, not making any compromises because they know that they're still on the comeback here. They're still trying to bridge the gap in the early lead that Endpoint established. BuzzKill off to a hot start, but a faster play. Craze a lot of flash utility to support, and Russ and Hype will actually get the first entries. Craze creating a lot of space, but Laney left to try and survive for as long as possible in towards CT.
Awkward smoke, it does block off the Molotov. He might find Craze at the very edge of it, and indeed he does, but meanwhile ZNX will fall, so the man advantage is maintained by the team, so the nade lands a bit too deep. Both players going to remain alive. They try and spray on through. Laney takes down J7, it's all up to Hype and Hawk. Endpoint now with a HP advantage, weapon advantage, but Hype catches off Mighty Max, and it's all left to Laney to ace this one this time. He gets the fourth, looking for the spray, but it's too high. A second time he's been up for the clutch of Endpoint and just a little bit off position on the spray pattern. He's unable to get it done. And now BuzzKill, they are starting to stack up the rounds. They are catching up to the Endpoint side.
And both times with the FAMAS. I rate the FAMAS a lot higher than people that anticipate, but if I imagine you put him in this position where it's an AK or an M4, he's more than likely going to knock down those shots. He's just been slightly off the mark in both instances, and BuzzKill may have found a way in. This is beginning to look a little bit more believable here from that T side. It could have potentially been a map registered here for Endpoint, but BuzzKill still going to go down kicking and screaming, trying to bring them back, equalize the affair. Endpoint already losing the B bomb side. That should be a bomb planted for that T side, but again, this is another instance where they've got the pistols, they've not really invested all too much, although and they're going to be able to afford up a gun round to the following. So, do you go for damage? Do you once again save like we saw Endpoint do previously?
Laney trying to get close against BuzzKill, but the weapon advantage is way too much. Hype reading that flashbang as well. Endpoint know what's up. This is going to be another ninth for the BuzzKill side as they just continue to stack their way on with the frags. Flashbangs in, Laney last man standing, and all five remain alive. BuzzKill, such a confident execute against the pistols. Endpoint going to be forced to take a tactical pause at this stage in time. Because again, take a look at that scoreboard. 5 rounds in a row for BuzzKill versus the 2 that Endpoint got at the beginning of the half. And that means that again, they've caught up. Only within 4 rounds of the Endpoint lead. This was an 11-4 half. And now, things are looking very awkward for the favorites. And we said to ourselves, maybe if when they went to nuke, Endpoint would have a bit of a hard time. But now we're looking at Mirage. And well, they've had the lead. They've got the lead. They still kind of maintain control over BuzzKill and power over authority over BuzzKill. But well, that might be about to change here, Yumi.
Not quite sure how things are going to go, but Endpoint at least had pretty decent success when we saw them in the overtime victory yesterday at the edge of their group, able to eventually overcome Fierce as a result of calling timeouts and using those to their advantage. I think they know how to manage their sort of mental state, take that time to take a breather and reevaluate the situation. So maybe that pause is exactly what they needed. Maybe that's going to be enough to break the cycle here. Because like you said, 5 rounds in a row from BuzzKill. That's a very strong start here in the second map. Or rather, the second half of map number 2. Mid control will be gained, though, from BuzzKill and for free. Nothing really contesting on the side of Endpoint, but timely Molotov there deployed by Pulse. It's going to make things a little bit more awkward there because they wanted that first player to get a bit more information before they committed towards this A-side split.
BuzzKill, very good setup for this one. Endpoint might get caught out here. One player towards Dark, several others. Does with the first one. Hawk turns around, turns onto Pulse. Laney goes falling all the same. And the A site being exploited so hard right now with the CT forces. Look at where Lane is at next, though. He is. Goes in for hype. Russell traded it. 3 versus 2. Risky plays and didn't quite read onto the T side line. So Max and Luzza, the dynamic duo, been in this lineup for so long. But Hawk comes up with a kill to take one of those guys out, leaving the AWP to fall right back. 10 for BuzzKill. Double digits established by the T side. After what's been a very good T side half for Endpoint, initial start of the CTs looking so good. And once again, a tactical pause will be initiated by the Endpoint squad because they're running out of options here, Yumi. Look around this corner, Hawk. Oh no.
He's going to go for it.
Don't do this. What? Left clicks and everything. Triple kill for Hawk. Oh man, that's embarrassing. That is embarrassing. And if there's one way you want to cripple the mindset and the confidence of Endpoint, that's how you do it.
The thing is with a play like that as well, Luzza is probably going to check towards short seconds away. He's probably thinking about, oh, they can maybe chase me off of catwalk, go through the B apartments. You know, that's a possibility. But Hawk, he doesn't care. He knows that making a play like that is a potentially tilting factor for the side of Endpoint. 6 in a row, and they don't even get to save the AWP off the back of it. That's the equivalent of tapping somebody on the shoulder from behind their back on the other side of them and then wondering why they've turned around in the first place. Luzza was drawn between 2 different positions, and he was confused as to how he was getting stabbed in the first place.
I love that analogy. That's a really good analogy right there. That's a good way to describe it. Endpoint.
It's pistols again. These CT sides have really struggled, I think. Maybe a testament to how strong the T sides are from both of them, but you think that they'll be able to plug up that gap eventually.
Well, so next will make good use of his pistol to take down Craze to start. Pick up that AK as well. We'll try to turn it back around against the 2 T-side players that make their way in, but JSav covers off Mighty Max, and then next will try and rotate back into retake position. Pulse gets caught off. Manic spray from Hype, doing so much damage, but unable to get the kill. Then they might be able to finish the job. No, Pulse gets out of dodge just in time. And the bomb plant will come through as the CTs make their way in. They've heard the underpass player. I guarantee that from Hype, and Russ will deal with him as appropriately. Caves his head in at the apartments, and Laney and Pulse also coming in for the same positions. Russell spot one, ready for the second man. He'll spot him crossing once again. Actually, Laney gets the headshot, so picking up that AK drop by his teammate will take the AWP out of play. I imagine it will be recovered by BuzzKill, and Endpoint will just fall right back. No defuse kit, no utility, no real chance of the retake to get the AK into the rifle round is the real point of contention.
And that AWP should be able to be recovered. It will be Hawk to wield that, to redistribute that over towards Russ later on. But in 11th, they're getting closer and closer, and this is... You'll start to feel a few beads of sweat if you're Endpoint.
Nice shot from Hawk, by the way.
He was merely the scout, allowing Laney to maybe bring this rifle forward. He's taking fight after fight.
Oh, not against type, though.
It's close. It is very, very close. Laney almost falling towards the end there, but that leaves a little bit of extra money to work with in this round.
You see that? That is what we call the wall of BuzzKill.
Yeah.
7 rounds in a row for the T's.
And Endpoint will begin to feel the buzz. The swarm has, and the hive is being built here from BuzzKill. They're setting themselves up for the final.
If you keep up with these B puns, I'm going to kick you off the stage.
I'll have you know bees are an endangered species.
You're not, though. Up for Lazar. This could be a cold zero moment right here. Russell opened things up on A. The stack coming through, and Lazar might play contact. How much can he get done, though? Spotting the first man and misses the shot. Now calling in for backup because he saw more than just the one man. Hype will try and isolate him. Lazar towards the back lines of the B-bomb site as Hype makes his way up, taps on taps, and on towards Brucey's spot. He will be caught off guard by two players cross-firing down. ZNX on the backstab will deny that bomb plant. Got to get picked up by someone who's going to make their way back in for the apartments. And ZNX going to continue to regress. Might find two players, does damage onto both of them, but unable to get the kills. With Pulse and Laney making their way inland. The AWP of Russ has it marked off, and Laney's left alone. 1v4. For Lazar. He's landed so many kills, but this time a good bait in and switch from BuzzKill. Baited in the orb shot, got themselves the round, got themselves the kill, got themselves the bomb. 12. They continue to stack it up here, Yumi.
This is, again, so dangerous. Endpoint able to win out in their best of one in overtime. So I'm setting myself up mentally for an overtime game. I feel like Endpoint, because they've got so much experience as well, they've got that veteran level play in which they should be able to mentally compose themselves for it. But some of these rounds are just shutout performances from BuzzKill. This one, it's entry after entry, and there's nothing that Endpoint can do, really. They make some pretty brazen and long side rotations, but BuzzKill are still watching for those as well.
I mean, again, there's a peak testament to the T-side setup and how good it really is from both BuzzKill and Endpoint. The fact that we stand here, Endpoint at a dominating lead at the turn of the half, and now starting to be within one round of the BuzzKill side, and most likely going to be equalized by BuzzKill. Deagle's in for 2, and a 5-7 from Pulse to back up the AK coming in from ZNX and the AWP on Laney. I'm surprised that Laney didn't put that up towards Lazar. Having a fantastic game so far in this one. Still a very, very passive setup from BuzzKill this time. They're expecting Endpoint to aggress. They're expecting them to try something brand new here, but very little will come out. Just standard 3 players on A site, 2 on site, 1 to connector, 1 more in the sniper nest to rotate, and Mighty Max being contact player on the B-bomb site. Will force the rotation from Laney so the AWP will be pulled. But very passive stance here on B. Might be a bit of an option for BuzzKill. Very little information being given up by Endpoint, though. They don't really know where they want to go.
I think because we've seen a couple of brazen rotations from the side of Endpoint, BuzzKill are anticipating some sort of a push towards the extremities of the map. That's why they've played this one out so slowly, waiting for a potential information play here from the likes of Endpoint, because if they've not really fully invested into this round, these pistols could get that information for the AWP and the AK to really capitalize off of. And instead, they've just sat back and allowed BuzzKill to sort of poke and prod around the map. It will now be the A side execute here from the BuzzKill side, and we'll see how Endpoint hold up. They have 3 players here.
Here comes the hits, that execution towards A. 2 kills coming in initially. Craze and ZNX trying to trade back. ZNX with the AK though gets himself a double kill. And now around that corner, Craze and Hawk will finally deal with him and Pulse. So 3 versus 2 scenario. Mighty Max and Laney. Mighty Max coming in from the connector area, and Laney with the AWP out.
If they drop the bomb, it's so dangerous.
Oh, it could well be, but AWP shot misses on the bomb planter, so the bomb plant will be allowed. Russ moving over forward, trying to gain control, but Laney actually drops it. And Russ getting full out guard by Mighty Max. He does get traded back. The bomb plant needs to come through now, though, and Laney with a risky peek could have waited for the plant queue and then went for the face to try and deny it there, but no, not to be. Endpoint so close to ending it off, but so many rounds that BuzzKill have all won. Not all of them confident, but they are going to be equalizing against Endpoint here.
That is 9 in a row. As we so excellently saw our observer counting himself, that's 9 in a row for BuzzKill, and potentially double digits in a row. It could be 10 as Endpoint are looking to mount a successful defense. It's Laney with the aggression in towards A ramp that finds the early advantage. Lazar, meanwhile, has contributed as well. Hawk and Russ, not much to do in the round, and it's going to be a lot on their plate. 4 players to find on the side of Endpoint. Bomb dropped at their disposal as well. Laney's going to have that all to play with.
Now Smoke does not even cover off the bomb fully. Laney can see it. They can all see it. When he gets picked up, they'll know where the last seat, where those T-side players are coming in from. Running a small moment when they look away. They will pick up that bomb. The Hawk will go down. And Russ with a very long rotation over towards B. They suspect he might still be around this corner, but they're going to chase him down. And with that player moving up towards mid, Mighty Max, I don't think you can hear the footsteps from this range, but you can see he's covering off, and as soon as he sees him cross over to the apartments, that leaves a bit of an advantage. Endpoint now adjusting to their standard line once again, but Russ in a 1 versus 4, he's got to find all these isolated 1v1s. The trade potential so good from all the CT forces. Pulse in mid, out in the open, still going to rush it, and gets the headshot. There you go. A confident defense from Endpoint this time around. BuzzKill not going to be allowed the lead so far in this one. But still, they have put up a hell of a fight to bring it back again. That was a lot of rounds in a row for the T-side, and Endpoint could still end up conceding this one, could still end up conceding this next round. That means BuzzKill will be on a decent chance to get to map point first. And for them, it will also be match point in this case.
Yeah, we talked about the veteran level play that's available here for Endpoint. They compose themselves to get round number 14 as soon as BuzzKill threatens their lead. Max in the apartments, he's fully flashed up. These subsequent flashbangs are so good for BuzzKill. They've been able to push themselves out. Russ, the entry is there. Max alone on the bomb site, and Luzza can do nothing to really support. He's going to trap Russ in towards that bench position, but he misses on the shot. Endpoint, they're crumbling in crucial moments. 2 players dropped on the B site. There's the contribution there from Pulse, but they're losing out and trading back and forth.
But now finally they're getting a man advantage on the CT side. It's all left to Hawk to clutch it. He spots Pulse, the low HP player, and does not know where Laney is. May have heard those footsteps creeping up close. It's all going to come down to this duel, and Hawk's not looking the right way. He still flicks to the head, and he still gets BuzzKill, an all-important 14th. When Endpoint were building up the hype, BuzzKill shut it the hell down.
Laney has had such a great game as well, but that's another clutch that he falls short. He's been contributing in massive ways in the early stages of the round, the mid-round as well, but in the crucial moments, in crunch time moments, he's fallen short so many times against each respective player on the side of BuzzKill.
Oh, man.
This could not be closer.
All about for Mighty Max. Cold zero moment right there. Takes first contact. Second flick's going to look good. And Endpoint 5-on-3 already here in the round. BuzzKill going to commit towards the B bomb site, excuse me, instead of next here to cover off with the AUG. Gets himself a triple kill. What a blind shot from him. And Endpoint, they're going to get to map point first.
ZNX dialing in his 6th sense there, the 15th accumulated for Endpoint. They secure at least overtime. This second map, not quite as convincing as it was shaping up to be at the end of the first half, but what a way that we've been able to get ourselves to our potentially ultimate round here. The 30th between BuzzKill and Endpoint. This could be Endpoint forcing map number 3. We could see another Endpoint overtime. Pistols are out for BuzzKill, and they're going to have to make those players effective somehow. They'll be doubled up with rifles stacked as a bit of a bait and switch, maybe create a bit more space so the trade is available.
Up here from Luzza. Oh, he spots the one man. The flash coming in a little bit late. I don't even think there was a flash actually for the T, so they're going for their smokes. As Hawk gets the one AK, kills the next, comes right back. Hype with a PT50 catches him. JSav also gets down Laney. Man advantage turn back for BuzzKill, but JSav locked out, and Pulse gets the double kill. Hype left alone towards the mid position, knows where both the CTs are at, but the AWP here looking at the cross, looking at trying to try and end things off for Endpoint. Hype creeping up, spots the first. No idea where Luzza is at Firebox. 5-7 so close, and Hype's going to round this corner in a couple moments' time. Will Luzza get a headshot? Will Hype going to flick back? No, Luzza ends it off for the Endpoint side, 16-14.